Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this review video, I'm going to be discussing the 1999 film Anywhere But Here, starring Susan Sarandon and Natalie Portman. Of course, this movie in 1999 was a big year for Natalie Portman because earlier in that year, she starred in a little movie that some of you might have heard of called Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace. Even though she did star in a few movies before then, most notably in The Professionals with John Reno, who was starred later on in The Da Vinci Code, but playing the daughter of a hitman. But Star Wars was the movie that really put her on the international map. Even though The Professional was I think it was like the first movie, Star Wars was the movie that put Natalie Portman on the international map. And of course, and Anywhere But Here put her on, even bigger stage, saying this girl can act and she could do other roles other than being in a science fiction film. Of course, Anywhere But Here is a movie that's based on a popular novel. It's about a mother-daughter relationship. It takes place over a couple of years. But this movie is a stereotypical movie with all the cliches in there. And of course, this movie got some praise because of the acting of the relation between Natalie Portman and Susan Sarandon, the performances in this film. Other than their performances was top notch. Even though I'm not the biggest Susan Sarandon fan because of her liberal politics, but of course Natalie Portman is going to some flack because of her anti-Israel, comments recently. But the acting, these two, in particular Natalie Portman, really shows in this role that this girl could act. And of course, almost 10 years later, she won her Oscar for Black Swan. Anyway, but here, like I said, it's a mother-daughter relationship where they lived in Wisconsin, and Susan Sarandon says, "Oh, we're not going to go anywhere. We're living in a small hick town," and she couldn't stand living in a small hick town anymore, even though her character was married to a second husband at the time. Her first husband just dumps her and leaves her, and she got remarried, and she was the one who was doing the dumping. Anyway, she dumps her second husband and decides to go to California and live at hoity-toity Beverly Hills because she only wants the best for her daughter. Because, like I said, it was played by Natalie Portman. At that time, I think she just turned 18. A couple months earlier, by the time this movie came out. Even though, in reality, Natalie Portman was 18 years old, she was actually playing a 14-year-old. Because Natalie Portman is very short in stature. Not just height-wise, but her slender. She's very petite, very small, very tiny, and so she could be believable as a 14-year-old girl. And so at first, Natalie Portman was not thrilled of her mother upping and leaving her stepfather, because Natalie Portman's character things, and she loves her stepfather. So he was great towards her. They never had any problems, and like I said, they had those cliches. Every cliche in the mother-daughter film, they hit it in this movie. And so she gets pissed off, and Natalie Portman's character, and she gets pissed off with Susan Sarandon and says, "Hey, I don't want this crap. I want to stay home. I want to doing well there." And Susan Sarandon says, "Look, I'm your mother. I know what's best for you, and the best is going to Beverly Hills School District, and you go and maybe with your grades, you get into a good school." And that's what she wanted. And she said, "No, forget F you." And she didn't say F you, but it says pretty much said screw you. I don't want any of this. And so at first, the mother Susan kicked her out of the car, and kept on going. And then not even 5 minutes later, she turns around. Susan turns around, and picks her up, and they go back to California to Beverly Hills. and they lived in this really crappy apartment, and they moved out in the middle of the night. There's another place where they're living. They moved around a couple of times because they couldn't afford the rent. So they snuck out in the middle of the night, and they eventually got a place where the apartment was refurbished, and they had furniture in the apartment. They literally had a mattress on the floor. They're literally sleeping on a mattress on the floor. That's all the furniture they really had in the apartment. And because they were really poor. So what Susan Sarandon was trying to do was trying to get Natalie Portman to tryouts, so trying to push her to being an actress. And she didn't want to be an actress. And she did one particular tryout when Susan Sarandon poked her head in the door and saw Anne Natalie Portman trying to impersonate Susan Sarandon, and she got pissed off, and Susan Sarandon got pissed off at her because she felt, Susan Sarandon felt that Natalie Portman was making fun of her, and that she was making improvisations with the casting director. Of course, she didn't get the part. Natalie Portman's character, she didn't get the part because she didn't want that stuff. I mean, she tried her best, but it was not good enough. When all that stuff was going on, Natalie Portman's character, and she had, her best friend was like her cousin. Bill, and he came out to visit them, and not too long after he visited them, and leaves and goes home. He was killed, even though he didn't see it on screen. He was killed in a car accident, and so they go back to Wisconsin for the funeral. And the cousin's mother was played by Bonnie Bedelia, from Die Hard fame. I mean, she was the only real big name actress, other than the two leads, to be in this film. And she was only in like one scene in the whole movie, Bonnie Bedelia. And even though it took place like 11 years after the first Die Hard film, she still looked pretty damn good. She still looked hot. I mean, to me. Long live Holly McClane. I'm saying on that. So, when they were there, they got, Susan Sarandon's kind of got in a fight with the relatives that says, oh, and one of the cousin, or the father of the cousin that was killed, he was pretty much called Susan Sarandon a slut. Which she is in real life, not only in her movie roles, but that's what she was in real life as a slut. I mean, it's true. Ask Tim Roberts, alright? Or watch Bo Durham and see if she wasn't a slut in Bo Durham. I mean, it's true she's an actress playing a part, but still. So, most everyone by it. I mean, I have my window shut in here, you can still hear it. So they decided to go back to Beverly Hills to try and make it go. And Susan Sarandon's character, she was like, trying to work as a teacher, and the job wasn't good enough. And then she worked at a nursing home. She was doing well in that. So what Natalie Portman was trying to do, she went just trying to get out. She didn't want to live with her mother anymore. And she tried to contact her father. And finally, she tracks her father down, her biological father in the film, and found out that, he only thinks that she's calling him really for money, hitting him up for money and stuff. And so, you think that's what I'm calling you for? Because I want money? And I don't want money, I want a relationship, a father-daughter relationship with you. I even thought I want to have a relationship with you, because I never really knew you. Because you left when I was a baby. And I want a father-daughter relationship with you. And he said, oh, you sure you don't want money? I mean, he was pushing the money angle, and because he knew how the mother was with money, because she was like a free spirit, spending money that she didn't have, and just pissed off Natalie Portman to no end that she's always spending money that she didn't have, and the father wants to give them more money, and he says, oh, that's all, man. You think that's all, man? And I said, it's your money. He said. And he says, F you, and he says, screw you, and hangs up on him, and was very upset. She did a whole big crying scene. She called her father for friends on the phone, and then we find out what, things they were only calling off for money, and she got very upset over that. So, of course, what Natalie Portman was trying to do was try and get into a good college back east. So trying to get into Brown, the Ivy League school. And as soon as the man says, "Look, we can't afford it. Why don't you go to UCLA? Because at least it's a state school. We can afford it. Maybe get better. It's not going to be as expensive as going to another state school. You can maybe get a scholarship. Maybe get some help, financial aid and stuff. It'd be easier for you to get financial aid with UCLA than Brown." But guess what? She did get into Brown, but there's a catch. She only got like a partial scholarship, and like pay like half the tuition, and Susan Sarandon has to pay the other half. And Natalie Portman got very upset that they wouldn't give her a full. That Brown would not give her a full scholarship, only a partial. But Natalie Portman, Susan Sarandon made it work. They know how much it meant to her to go, on her own. Eventually, at first it's all good, I'm glad, then you go to UCLA. Forget Brown, go to UCLA. Because Natalie Portman's character felt trapped and being with such a crazy, mother. And of course she says like, "Mom, you gotta let me go. You gotta let me go routine. You have to go let me live my own routine." Cliche. Because of course, another cliche is of course Susan Sarandon caves. Sells a car, sells other things to make it work for her to go to Brown. And that's what, of course, happens. And at the end of the movie, she goes to, Natalie Portman gets on the plane and goes to Brown University. And that's how the movie ends. I mean, this movie is such a cliche all the way through. And of course, this movie is only, for me, personally, is only notable for one thing. Seeing Natalie Portman in a bikini. Yes, folks, you see Natalie Portman in a bikini. Well, of course, the bikini doesn't look that great. It's not a great bikini because, first of all, it's not a string bikini, the number one. Number two, well, I don't think Natalie Portman will look good in a string bikini because her frame is so tiny. It's such a petite figure that she has. But I feel like they should have put on a bad bikini one for her, like a standard bikini, not a string bikini, but a standard one, and or at least a bikini that's even better than what she was wearing. But you do see her in a bikini in this film, and it shows off her figure that she had, her 18-year-old figure, and you go like, damn, you see Natalie Portman's in a bikini, Queen Amidala is in the bikini, holy crap, And of course, this was before she did, 3 years before she did Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, where her shirt gets ripped, and you see her midriff and you see her tummy, as Natalie put it in the bonuses on the DVD. The bonus features on the DVD says, "Oh, it's okay. I guess it's okay since I'm past 18 now. I guess it's okay for me to show a little tummy." In the movie, I guess. George Field says since I'm over 18, I can show a little tummy. And she showed her tummy in this movie, definitely. And you see what a nice little, cute little petite figure that Natalie has. Of course, if this movie was made today, you see Natalie in a bikini with her figure, people say, "Oh, she must have an eating disorder." It's surprising that they didn't mention it back 20 years ago. "Oh, I think Natalie Portman she's so thin, she must have the stuff that they say about Celine Dion now. She must have a eating disorder or something because she's so thin." But she did pretty damn good in a bikini in a beach scene. She did pretty good. But anyway, damn, and I wish they show more bikini or swimsuit scenes from Natalie Portman movies, other than the two movies I made. This movie and of course Episode 2, or Star Wars Episode 2, and of course he was in Closer, and I think that's about it. Because she doesn't do nude scenes, so that's the only thing we're going to get is to see her in a bikini in this movie. But this movie was pretty dull and cliche. I also mention one other scene with Natalie Portman. In this movie, she was supposed to have done a nude scene in this movie, in any way but here. but she did because she had, like I just mentioned, that she has a clause in a contract that she doesn't do nude scenes. But she waived it to do the movie Closer, but they didn't put that scene in the movie because she played a stripper in the movie Closer, and she's supposed to do a nude scene, a strip tease where she gets all nude, but they didn't edit it into the final cut. But anyway, but here she's supposed to do a nude scene, or at least a scene where she's in her underwear, at the very least. There's a scene where she invites a boy over to her apartment that she was living in with her mother, and she says to the boy, "Take your clothes off." For some reason, so he does it because he has a crush on Natalie's character, so he goes all the way down to his boxer shorts, and that's it. So you see, Natalie Portman does not take off one stitch of clothing. Now her t-shirt, a little t-shirt, she's gonna take that off. She's gonna take her pants. She wasn't even wearing shorts. So she didn't even take her pants off. She didn't take her socks off. She didn't take her shoes off. She didn't take off one stitch of clothing. And here's a guy who was in his box, wearing nothing but his boxer shorts in this scene. And figured, that doesn't make sense. She doesn't take anything off. And that's because of Natalie had her contract. Even though she was 18 years old at the time, like I mentioned, at the time this movie came out, but she didn't do it. So so the reason was so like I said, the only thing you got was the scene I mentioned earlier with her in a bikini. The only thing excitement you're going to get is checking Natalie Portman's body out. So that's my review. Like I said, this movie, before I close this video out, this movie is such a cliche film, one cliche after another. And the only thing that kind of made this movie work was the performances of Susan Sarandon and Natalie Portman. That's the only thing that made this movie work. If they didn't give top-notch performances, this movie would probably get like a zero star rating. I mean, because of all the cliches involved. So that's my review of the movie Anywhere But Here. Please click on the video, please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel, please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at RowdyC.com, so WDY. C.com is the homepage of my reviewer, Christine Moore. Please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.